Give him another couple of weeks, and if it doesn't rain and the going gets even firmer, we'll run him at Kempton. See how he goes.
My father was talking about the run out at Folkestone next weekend.
No, he's not ready. Who the hell are you?
Mr. Davies. Mr. Ashley Davies.
Matthew Rodway was the best friend I ever had. I mean it. When he died, it was like losing... I was in South Africa when I heard. Of course, I flew back for the funeral. Read the lesson. Tried to.
You say he was your best friend, but you nearly killed him. Was that anything to do with Miss Kay Brooks? Perhaps you know as Kay Back.
She'll be Kay Davies soon. We're going to be married.
I understood she was working as a professional escort.
So?
That doesn't bother you?
No.
Did you meet her professionally?
No, I did not. If you want to know, she turned up to a rugby dinner with an 80-year-old fly half who couldn't do it anymore. If he ever could.
After a couple of hours, she slipped her arm through mine, asked me to take her home. Which I did. When Kay calls...
And you introduced her to Matthew Rodway and
Kay... She doesn't like to feel, you know, restricted. That is, she didn't. Now we're engaged, of course. Look. I was terribly in love with her. Still am. When I saw her with Matthew. When you meet her, Sergeant, you'll understand.
Miss Kay Brooks. Chief Inspector Morse.
Hello.
Sie sind nicht Kay Buck heute.
You are a detective.
Was that Dr. McClure's idea, the translation?
Do you mind? I have 8 GCSEs. Is this okay? I didn't know what to wear. I've never been to a police station before.
It's, I'm sure it would be very elegant anywhere. And we don't have to go to the station, not unless you want to. Not at this stage, anyway. It's a lovely morning. We have the whole Thames Valley.
Felix used to take me to a pub in Marsden.
I haven't been there for years.
Miss Brooks and Dr. McClure, how did they meet?
Well, Matthew and I... Well, the furniture was crashing around a bit. Felix came up to see what was going on. And there Kay was. Starkers, actually. Once he called the ambulance, he didn't want a scandal, so he got her out of the college without... And I suppose things sort of developed from there.
Into what?
Nothing. He was just sort of paternal with her.
You sure about that? Sure you didn't catch her with him, too?
He was a lovely man, Felix. He said it doesn't matter what you do as long as you're true to yourself.
And are you? You have 8 O-levels. Providing an escort service isn't exactly fulfilling your potential.
You have to be very adroit to do what I do. And keep smiling. And make them feel they're privileged to pay you. I've saved quite a bit. I was thinking of putting it into a travel agency. Do you think I should?
I've never been rich enough to have investments.
Felix thought it was a good idea.
You talked about everything then?
Oh, yes. Felix... Well, this last year, Felix and I... He had no kids of his own, and he'd half retired from the college. We were really good friends.
A purely intellectual relationship?
A very close, very warm, loving relationship. Sex would have ruined it.
It wouldn't for most men.
Yes, but knowing Felix was the best thing that ever happened to me. After I'd been with him, I'd go and meet Mum at Brown's or somewhere. Have a chat. It was like my day off. Find him. Whoever did it, you must find him.
We've been wondering about Ashley Davis.
Ashley?
Where were you last Sunday morning, sir?
Up here, riding out.
So what time did you go home to Blueberry?
9-ish. Kay's staying while my parents are away, and...
So Miss Brooks can vouch that you were home by 9:30, sir?
Actually, she likes to sleep in weekends. There's no staff there then, so I took up her breakfast about 11.
Do you have any witnesses, sir, as to where you were between 9 and 11?
No. No, I suppose I don't.
Between 9 and 11 was when Dr. McClure was killed. Lambourne to Oxford, Oxford to Blueberry. Do that in under 2 hours, easy. You sure you've got no witnesses, sir?
No, but...
Thank you, sir. Oh, one other thing. What size shoes do you wear, sir? 10s, would it be?
Your parents seem very well off. Do you give them money?
Look, Inspector.
Moss. People just call me Moss.
All right, Morse. My mother is my mother, and I love her very much. But my father, my real father, he died when I was 3. Ted Brooks is my stepfather, and I don't like him at all. He couldn't bear it that I wasn't his. When I got a few GCSEs, well, he never got anything, of course. He did that, knocking me against a cooker.
I didn't know.
He used to be a boxer. He knows how to hurt. He hits Mum. You do realize that?
PC Martin at St Mary's. I think I found that green bike we've been looking for.
Ashley's been begging me to marry him for months. In fact, almost the last thing Felix said to me was, take him. So I'm going to. But... I don't know. What do you think?
Do you love him?
I like him. I like him very much. Felix said that was enough. Better, really, than strong romantic feeling. Romance doesn't last, he said. But... do you think that's right?
I'm afraid I don't know very much about marriage. It seems to me as if you love Dr. McClure more than Davis.
I don't think I can love. Not like other people.
Oh, I'm sure...
Ashley liked Felix. He would never even contemplate...
Where was he Sunday morning?
riding up on the downs. When he came back, he tiptoed around the place so as not to wake me. He's very sweet like that. But listen, if I thought he'd killed Felix, I'd kill him myself. I would.
Then you did love Dr. McClure best.
Perhaps.
How long do we reckon it's been here?
There's something on it, look.
Blood?
It could be.
Get it down the lab, quick as you can. See what blood group it is. Hey, Sergeant Lewis, anybody know where Morse is?
Kevin,
Yes, Mrs. Stevens?
you weren't in class this morning. Why was that?
Overslept.
I didn't sleep at all, but I'm here. You've got your homework for this afternoon?
Yes, miss. Thank you, miss.
Don't let me down, Kevin.
Never.
Oh, negative. Thank you very much. We found the bikes here. It's got bloodstains. Same group as Dr. McClure.
Well done, Lewis. Where was it?
Right in the middle of town. Radcliffe Square.
It's a funny place to leave a blood-stained bike.
Unless maybe he was biking home, started feeling ill, decided to dump the bike, come back for it later. Where have you been?
Interviewing Kay Brooks.
Where'd you find her?
She found me.
And?
I shall be continuing my inquiries in due course.
Davies wears size 10s, and you can tell he's got a temper, but cold-blooded murder, I don't know.
It was a cold-blooded killing. Whoever did it went armed with a knife.
No one in this case has got a provable alibi, have they? Now, Ashley Davies and Kate Brooks, Ted and Brenda Brooks, they only confirm each other. Suppose they were all in it together.
What?
Well, Davies is rich. Suppose he supplied the capital for Brooks's drugs operation, and suppose Dr. McClure found that Brooks was still supplying students and threatened to report him. And, yeah, so Davies and Brooks went round there to have it out with him, and they had a row.
What was Kay Brooks doing?
Well, she was driving the vehicle with Ashley Davies in it, while Brooks biked off back down to Cowley.
And Mrs. Brooks? What was she doing? Making cakes for them all when they came home?
Oh, thanks a lot.
No. I am glad your enthusiasm is returning, Lewis, but let's at least try and keep it within bounds. I think we're ready to bring Brooks in. Question him away from home. Break him down a bit. See how he likes a bit of bullying. I hate men who beat up women.
About there, come on. There you are. I was afraid something had happened. Everything all right?
Fine, thanks, Mrs. Stevens.
All aboard then.
You better have a doctor present. We don't want him having another heart attack in police custody. Mind you, if he ups and dies, it'll save us the expense of a trial.
Oh, and in these hard-pressed times...
Oh, it's all very well for you to sneer, but you don't know what it's like sitting here forced to implement cuts. I mean, solving crimes, that's the easy part.
Of course, we haven't solved this one yet, sir, but I must say, Lewis has worked particularly hard on it. He's been very imaginative.
Lewis? Imaginative?
It comes of his long years working with me. Something's bound to rub off in the end.
It's a bit early for patting ourselves on the back, Morse. If you have the imagination to solve this case in double-quick time, then I may give consideration.
Thank you, sir.
If, Morse, if.
Don't worry about if, sir. With Lewis on the ball the way he is.
If you don't stop going on about Lewis, you're going to give me a heart attack.
Perhaps you'd like to sit in on the questioning, sir. See how well Lewis...
Morse, go.
5 minutes. Closing in 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Closing in 5 minutes.
Mrs. Brooks is off in Stratford, isn't she?
And I expect he's down his club. Damn. Do we know which club?
Soon find out.
Well, we'll leave it till tomorrow, make an early start.
I made an early start today.
Shh, please. Some of us are trying to sleep.
Macbeth does murder sleep.
Darling, put your seatbelt on, look.
Mr. Brooks? Mr. Edward Brooks? Mr. Brooks? Mr. Humphreys?
The time has been. My senses would have called. The hero night shriek. And my fell of hair. What's a fell of hair, Mrs. Stevens? What? A fell of hair.
Brooks. Edward Brooks. Hang on. Mrs. Brooks? How old is he, Mrs. Brooks?
Oh, 53 last March.
53. 5'9", greying hair.
When did you last see your husband, Mrs. Brooks?
Yesterday afternoon, when I went off to catch the bus. 3:30 it must have been. He was sitting here.
So where did you spend last night?
Well, whenever I go to Stratford with Mrs. Stevens, I stay over at her place.
That's rather unusual, isn't it? A cleaner spending the night at her employer's?
Well, Ted doesn't like to be disturbed, you see, with me coming in late. Oh, and it was late. Macbeth's a long play, awfully long.
It's one of the shortest plays Shakespeare wrote.
Well, it seemed long to me. I dropped off once or twice. Mrs. Stevens had to nudge me.
This, Mrs. Stevens, do you work for anyone else?
Not anymore. I used to, but...
Your husband makes enough on the side these days without you having to? So what makes you keep on working for this one woman?
She's been very good to me. And she's not well. Not well at all. But she wants to keep on working while she can, you see. And, well, she asked me and...
Where does she live?
Not very far. Temple Avenue. I'm sorry. I can't think where Ted's got to.
Well, there's no report of any accident. No one admitted to hospital.
There you are, Mrs. Brooks. He probably went to his club.
I've tried there twice already.
That woman is too cool. It's like she's got it all rehearsed.
She was crying.
Not behind the eyes.
Sergeant Lewis. All right. Yeah, thanks. Is Cotterill up at the museum, sir? Thought you ought to know. Knife gone missing from one of our exhibition cases since last night.
Well, that's no use to us. McClure was killed last Sunday. Better check it out, though. And get someone up here to keep an eye out for Brooks. I'm going to have a word with this Mrs. Stevens. A schoolmistress should talk sense.
None of mine ever did.